Another very interesting ZVZ map overall. I like this map. Suppy is up 1-0. We're in our first match of this group. If you didn't already, we had another group that played earlier on. You can find out all the VODs at starcraft2.com/WCS. But let's jump into game number 2 between Xigua and Suppy. Let's do it, cats.
Okay. So, yep, Suppy's going to be up 1-0 against the Chinese player. And on the left-hand position from China, we have IG. Xigua. Your turn.
All right. And his opponent, spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, Evil Geniuses, sir.
Does anyone else? Does anyone else? Does anyone else?
It is.
Does anyone else?
Suppy.
Does anyone else Suppy?
Sick life, man. I gotta come visit you in San Fran, by the way.
Do it. It would be so awesome.
It's a sin that I haven't. As soon as I get time, I
is.
swear. Anyway, Belshir Vestige, talk to me a little about this ZVZ on this map. You know, it's not nearly as bad as Akalon Waste, but it still has its troubles. We've seen a lot of 4-queen openings, no gas. But we've seen our fair share of Zergling speed openings. Cats, I'm going to ask you, what's your preference?
You can do pretty much anything, really. The third is kind of close by. It's a really nice map for CVZ, and no matter what unit composition you have, there's always positions in the map where you can fight effectively with it. For example, if you're going for infestor compositions, there's a lot of chokes. But then again, in the middle of the map, it's wide open. So if you're going for a Roach Hydra heavy composition, that's the spots that you want to pick. Or even Roach, just pure Roach. So it's a really versatile map, and anything can happen.
Anything can happen. Ali Goulding has taught me that.
Anything will happen.
We'll find out. Xigua, already thrown down the spawning pool. Both these players are going economic-based openings. Surprised Suppy's not mixing up with 6 pools. I think he's the most common 6-pooler I've ever seen in professional play. I don't know how he is against you on ladder these days, Cats. Do you see him like 6-pooling on ladder that much, or at least these really, really early spawning pools?
No, not really. He's never done that to me, and I've never done that to him. So we're pretty good at not 6-pooling each other, I guess so. Yeah, last time he was pretty aggressive with Ling Baneling though, but that's because he thought he could break the +1 carapace with it, and it just wasn't possible.
Yeah.
But we trade games a lot on Korea. He's actually higher ranked than me. Of course, he's pretty beast.
Well, he's been playing so well lately.
Yeah, he really is. You know, he's full time. He's gonna go nuts.
I think so. I think he's one of the few Americans that can actually do it. That have that not the passion, but that determination. You know.
Yeah, I completely agree. He's just really talented. Xigua actually dropped a much later gas, so I think we're gonna have a much more passive opener. We're not gonna see any of those link floods early on. Yeah, this game will be shaping up to be pretty standard so far.
That's right. You can see the metabolic boosts are same timings. They have pretty much the same gas. Baneling Nest is gonna go down here for Xigua this time around, so he's changing it up. Xigua probably a little bit peeved about that last game because it felt like he knew he was so far ahead. I mean, he was being aggressive. Normally when you're being aggressive, you're just kind of saying that I do have the advantage most of the time at that mid-game stage for Zerg. As it stands right now, though, I think the income is probably the same. Yep, 25 drones each. I mean, their builds were pretty similar. I think Suppy's was a little bit more defensive by going pool hatch instead of hatch pool. But we're going to just go into regular mid-game stage. And as you said, Cats, anything can happen with ZVZ on this map. So it really is a waiting game. Do you have
She was actually making some links. I think this is more of a telling Suppy, hey, I'm doing something like last game, and making him perhaps overreact to it. We'll see how many Baneling Suppy morphs and how many links he makes. Yeah, see, Suppy's instantly making 10 links, and she was already morphing, or he's actually adding. No, yeah, he's just making drones behind it. So this is a pretty good call by Xigua, I think.
3 Banelings each for both of these players.
Yeah, and Suppy's making a lot more links. So Xigua's gonna take the drone advantage from here.
Really unfortunate. But if we look back, I mean, the lair and the second extractor kind of tells us that for sure Suppy is going to be going a Muta opening here. First banelings.
Yeah, that's very likely. He could still go for Roaches, like a speed timing, but it's yeah. There's the third and fourth gases, so it's definitely gonna be Muta.
That's right. And so far everything's pretty standard. I would say even the third, fourth gases are a little bit late, but everything's okay.
Yeah, I think he was just being cautious.
Yeah, I think so too. On the back of Xigua's base, nothing's really told yet. I mean, he's gotten his lair. It's almost finished, 75%. Right now, saturated only 2 gases. Gets his third right now. Now puts down his fourth base. So it looks like he's going to be going mutas as well. Although it could be... No, it's going to be mutas as well.
I'm not quite sure about that. If it was me, I would be going infestors.
Really?
Yeah, but he is going to go muta. You're right. He is taking a later third.
Yeah.
But he has the gas disadvantage. I'm not sure if he identified that. Whenever I feel like I'm behind in that regard, I just don't go muta. But a lot of players feel like it's fine. Because it still comes down to denying the third and link movement a lot of the time, and defender's advantage is still pretty huge, even in muta versus muta.
Income tab showing 45 harvests to 48, so this is definitely a time where both these players are just going to go mass Zergling, Baneling, and just try to do this fight.
She was sneaking to the third, and he's definitely going to deny it. So that's not good for Suppy. He had 2 Banelings in place, but they would just barely move before Xigua got in. Yeah. He didn't cancel it. That's unfortunate.
Just a small pack of Zerglings. And on the other side, we can see Suppy is finally chased. Oh, God. Really, really poor engagement right there for Xigua. You lose a lot of Zerglings for just 2 Banelings. But still, we haven't seen Suppy be able to put pressure on this third base. And now that there's that Spine Crawler there, it's going to solidify that base all the more. Baneling.
Yeah.
Microed. Exactly. Not microed. Sorry, I was just kidding. Zerglings will be cleaned up over here, but I love the Xigua pushing in, getting into the main base, forcing Suppy to cancel his third base yet again, and on top of that, just be on his side of the map. Normally, you're not going to be able to do this, but Suppy is getting caught off guard all around the map. Now, finally, mutas are popping out, and this just does not look good for our American player.
Yeah, not one bit. That was really cool by Xigua, by the way. He was hiding the links on a corner in the third base. So as soon as Suppy took it, because Xigua has an order there, he was able to focus that hatcher really quick.
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Now finally Suppy able to motion to get his third base yet again. But I have to feel like the damage has already been done in high amounts. I mean, the 5th and 6th gas is already up. That means he will be able to kind of maintain that Mutalisk lead as the game goes on. But I mean, we're looking at 100 seconds. That's how long it takes a hatchery to finish. 100 seconds until he can actually get some gas mining. So I do feel like Xigua is just going to be alarmingly ahead, and it's very easy to maintain your lead when you're going Zergling, Baneling, Mutas, and ZVZ.
Yeah, especially when your opponent chooses to stay on the same unit composition as you. That's something that I really don't like, and you know, everyone does anyways.
Well,
Suppy losing a few more muta. This is looking really, really, really bad for him. He should really consider transitioning to infestors of spore crawlers or even more queens.
Right now, 11 mutas to 8. Suppy is making more mutas, and I completely agree with you, Cats. I feel like this is definitely a position where you absolutely have to transition. I mean, just going mutas, you're always going to be behind that muta count. What kind of engagement are you really asking for? It's going to be behind spore crawlers and behind queens, but normally Xigua's not going to take an engagement like that. So you're really looking at a scenario where there is no winning engagement if you keep going mutalist. But Suppy, I mean, he was behind last game. Maybe he can do it again this time around. He is down 33 supply right now. And that's a lot to be behind if you're going Zergling, Baneling, Muta. Units tab shows 16 to 13 Mutalisks. And maybe Suppy is going to get what he asked for. I'm really surprised here. Maybe he can get this engagement. Spore Crawler almost finished. Carapace upgrade has finished for both these players. Now Spire is going to be targeted down. Suppy needs to engage here. The Queen gets over. And it looks like the third base is going to be under attack at the same time, but this Muta battle looks like it's going Xigua's way.
Yeah, yes. Really good job by Xigua. They're identifying that he had more Muta right from the start. So that's something that's really hard to do, and Suppy's just kind of GG.
Excellently played by Xigua, and he will take game number 2. I mean, it really broke down to that mid-game stage pre-mutas with the Zergling Banelings.